I just wanted to share some of my experience, pseudo regulator, because I've been representing government to inspect uh, certain state of affairs of environment. For instance, Supreme Court Monitoring Committee with Dr. Boralkar. I'll give you some examples. I find that violators are not private. Violators are also government. Whether it is private or this thing, violators are also government. One classical case is Alang. We went to see Alang, and there they'll bring a. How they managed to get the ship into India is a different story. I'm not going into the details. Once it comes, they put the drill into it, drain the oil into the sea. Then it may contain few hundred tons of asbestos. There is a TSDF to take care of the asbestos. So I went to check the asbestos inventory. There was hardly few hundred kilograms or then every day they are dismantling so many ships. It should have been few hundred tons of, probably 1,000 tons of asbestos, but not even few hundred tons of asbestos processed and buried. So that means everything is going in the name of employment, free cheap steel. Government gets some money. There are stakeholders like private industries who come and make business, a lot of business out of it. But the major casualty is environment. The second is a port versus an industry case. I will not name it, but you can guess it. The industry was importing copper ore, which contains arsenic. Okay, we made a lot of hullabulla about the residue coming out of the copper plant. But when I went there to inspect the port, because there was a case of plastic import, when I went there to inspect the port, I saw this ore being, taken from the transported from the ship to the shore. They were just doing it like this. They do it with the sand. When I saw, I was appalled. I said, this has to be immediately stopped. And the port chairman said, sir, it's one of the major revenues for the port. If you stop it, we will lose a lot of revenues. So I said, okay. And he also said, now this will go to another port. So in my order, I said, it should not be taken to any other port where such facilities to handle safely is not there. So neither the offender nor the loser, they get into problems. But ultimately they entered into a collaboration and developed a special handling, ore handling facility from ship to the port. But this is the argument. First argument was we'll lose the business. But that at the same time, the environmentalists around it, they're saying the corals are just coming back near the Tuticorin. That was the argument of that. Now you put arsenic-laden ore into the coastal area, what will happen? So this is second example. Third example is if you go around Chennai, I live in Chennai today. If you go around Chennai, what is the dumping yard? Entire river stretches of Chennai is the dumping yard for the municipal solid waste. Besides dumping wastewater without treatment, I'm not talking about wastewater, so the river becoming Nala, I'm not complaining, but the river bed becoming a dumping yard. And so in one of these SCMC meeting, that is Supreme Court monitoring meeting, when we were having a public debate, one fellow stood up and asked me, sir, you are very happy to close industries. Have you ever closed a municipality because they are dumping untreated water? I said, they'll be happy if you close it. That is the truth, because we are only targeting industry to punish, but when the violation is by the government body, we are very immune. We think that nothing can be done. And that is where I find it hurts me, that 90% of the violations are, you go to CPCB website and find out how many municipalities have treatment facility for wastewater or treatment facilities for municipal solid waste. You will find none of them complies with the current regulation. That is the truth. But we don't do anything. we don't make any noise about it. But one industry makes this thing, I'm not saying, but it should be, it doesn't matter who who hurts the environment, we should be, against it. And it's unfair that we only talk about industry. I'll give you one more example. Dubai municipality invited us to do, EIA for process for, because they don't do EIA, but they said, can you come and tell us how to do EIA for their Palm Beach, the world palm and the Palm Islands. So when we saw, already they were doing the construction. So we went to the site, and when we saw, I told them that we wouldn't be allowed even fraction of it in India, what you are doing. Yeah, we wouldn't be allowed even fraction of it. Because then the sheikh was telling me, this sand is useless, but people are prepared to pay millions. Why don't we just make money out of it, take care of environment when it comes into play? See, that is the attitude of certain countries, whereas we are looking at the environment in a different way. So what I'm saying is, why, as a chairman in Maharashtra committee, I found that there are thousands of violations, buildings, industries, but it is not just the proponents are not just protecting their business, even the regulators try to defend their actions. So they will try to give more FSI, or they will say, pani aa jayega, so you give, we will arrange for water. But there is no water. How can the committee approve projects when there is no water supply, when there is no drain? But he will say, we'll take care. So it's not that the private developer only tries to put the case, but there are also government agencies or agents, you can call it, who want that development to take place. And in all cases, I find the states want clearances to be given, immaterial of the merit of the case. Because somehow the state thinks their state should develop. At what cost, they are not sure. Develop means project should be approved. That's all. This is the real life situation. So you don't know, regulator himself supports certain violations because they think that it can be managed. Most of the time I find, when it comes to finally, I find the reality, ground realities, whatever conditions you put, they are managed. They are not implemented. It's really true is, so when I listen to the presentation, what he says is ideally, very good, but it will not work. Because truth is, thousands and thousands of violations take place between proponent and the regulator. And that's where people do not have faith in whatever we are seeing. People have always resort to PIL because it doesn't work. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.